Hello, I am back with another video to help the job seeking community. Thank you so much for your engagement on the cover letter video. Super helpful. This one we're going to talk about questions that recruiters can and can't ask you, or creative ways they will try to ask you questions that they probably shouldn't be asking you. Okay. One, sexual orientation. Yeah, they shouldn't be asking you who you love, so it has no bearing on the job that you do. Definitely not one that you should be answering. Criminal record. So a lot of states have banned the box. So that means that your background, your criminal background, if you have one, should not be factoring into the job that you can do. It can lead to discrimination. And I'm going to say a lot of this. Check your state laws for this, because it does get down to state level, but generally speaking, all of these can lead to discrimination. That's why we're talking about them. So yeah, criminal record, definitely check it out, but they shouldn't be asking you about that. Your family structure, they shouldn't be asking you, do you have kids, and all of these other different things that can lead to discrimination. They can talk about, oh, you're a caregiver, you won't have time to do things. Just, they don't need to know your family structure in order to do the job that you are interviewing for. Age is a big one, because I think there's a lot of ageism that's happening right now in the job world. They're getting creative. It's not just like, how old are you? They're just trying to do math and asking like when you graduated, when you worked at a certain place. Just be very general, because your age should not be a factor in whether or not you can do the job. If you meet all the criteria, then you can do the job. Identity, like your accent or where you're from. Even if you're from like down south, for example, I'm from Detroit, right? So very interesting dialect. Where are you from? It's not necessary. It doesn't factor into the job at all. So definitely be careful on those kinds of things. Church affiliation, your religious status, beliefs, whatever, don't factor into the job that you can do. And these are all very general, by the way. So just making sure, like if you're working at a church, obviously, they might ask you that, but in a general sort of corporate setting, your religious affiliation has nothing to do with it. Your health or your disability status, they shouldn't be asking you specificities about that. They should be asking you, can you do the job, or do you require accommodations to do the job? That's a different question, because then they have to provide accommodations for you, but they should know your specificities. If you have anything, related, if you do have sort of a health situation, it's not specifically necessary for them to ask. Salary is very big. So they're being super creative, and just, a lot of companies or people are asking like, what are you making right now? You can't ask you that. In most states, it's illegal. You can talk about your expectations. I expect to be in this area, or you can go back to them and ask, what their compensation, what the range is for the role. And you can either say that meets mine or it doesn't. But again, they shouldn't be asking you what you make right now, because that has no bearing on what you're going to be making in the job that you're interviewing for. The job that you are interviewing for has a compensation band, and you are interviewing for that job. So you just need to fit into that compensation area, not based off of what you were making before. Hopefully, authorized to work in the U.S. Yes. So your citizenship status, they may ask you, are you authorized to work in the U.S.? That's a fair question, because they do need to know that, because you do need to be authorized to work in the U.S. to work in most jobs. And they need to know if they need to figure out visa or immigration or any kind of involvement that they actually need to do. And this is all based off of like labor and payroll and all of these different things. So this is a very fair question. Just like when you get hired and you have to do like I-9 verification, they need to make sure that you can actually get paid in this country. For all kinds of reasons. Hopefully this is super helpful. If you have questions, put them in the comments. If you have other suggestions of videos or questions that you need to ask, put them in the comments as well. I try to do this to help people, because this market is really bad, and the only way we're going to get through it is if we're advocating for each other. Bye.